my dear friend, welcome back to the channel. Very good morning to you wherever you are on the globe, on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, Canada, Australia, or right here in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. This is Salon's Vlog. Let's get started. Thursday morning edition. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are on an international break. Right now, I am solely focusing on Chelsea, because we have so much to talk about. Yes, maybe later, tomorrow or tomorrow next, I might be talking about the international news. Nigeria, Super Eagles, Ghana Black Stars. But right now, today, it is going to be Chelsea throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, now, the Clearlake agenda at Chelsea at the beginning of this season, do you remember? The fire that was on the mountain before the season started. Yes, the issues, the challenges that we faced within our top hierarchy, the ownership, Todd Boehly group and the Boehly group. Do you remember that issue? How did the issue just die off? Can you tell me, you as a Chelsea fan, what do you think killed the fire or quenched the fire? You remember very well when the season started, there was the issue of Todd Boehly and Boehly issues, troubling here and there. And we were hoping, I said it over on this channel many times, that I'm just believing that this issue at the management level, directors level, will not affect the playing body. The Clearlake out agenda, we call it. The Clearlake out. You know the Clearlake Capital, they are the owners of Chelsea Football Club right now, right? Yes, it got to a stage where the fans were like, Clearlake Capital out, Clearlake Group out, Boehly and Co out. Many fans were rather even in favor of, Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly is the face of the club. Yet he is the least shareholder. The Clearlake Capital in general, they have shareholders. Todd Boehly and his group, they have the least of the shares. Boehly and his group, they have the highest of the shares. And Boehly and his group wanted to buy out Todd Boehly Capital. They want to buy out Todd Boehly's group, their shareholding, due to some misunderstandings from last 2 seasons when the club was bought. When Todd Boehly was acting as the sporting director at the same time as a shareholder. Now, how did those issues just die off? I'm asking you, can you tell me why? How? All of a sudden, we don't hear about the fire any longer. It was so quiet throughout till now. We are heading to Christmas. Very soon it will be mid-season. How did the issue die off? The Clearlake out agenda at Chelsea died natural death. What could be the reason? Let me hear from you in the comments section. Yes, let me hear from you in the comments section. As you can see, there are 2 gentlemen right there on your screen. Let me hear from you in the comments section. You see, back to the main issues that were at stake we were discussing yesterday. I pointed out some positives on our head coach Enzo Maresca. And I also laid a foundation on our midfield challenges. Yes, it was a foundation I laid on the midfield challenges. Having Casado, Lavia, Enzo Fernandez working in that midfield, the partnership, whether we have a balanced squad or not. We've been talking about it for the past 2 days, right? And I also pointed out the positives from Enzo Maresca's reign, coming from Pochettino era till this time. Ladies and gentlemen, I still want to insist that Pochettino's era wasn't that bad, looking at the circumstances surrounding his takeover as a head coach or manager of Chelsea. We had a terrible first seasons under the Todd Boehly group. And as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, before I go into other matters, let me point out again for you to understand that I'm not against Enzo Maresca. I am not against Enzo Maresca. Let that be made very clear. I'm happy the work he's doing. Even a 1% of increment in our style of play is good. Now, if you put context on the table, the work Maresca has done looks magical. Making hard decisions to cut down the squad is phenomenal. Compete toe to toe, and we didn't park the bus against top teams in the league. Training players within few months to understand his system, and whichever team he feels plays the same way with clear identity. He managed the minutes within the squad, and our injury pros players right now, they look fit. Right? Get the players to play the same intensity and commitment in every match. Took Chelsea to third position in the league for the first time since 2021-2022, and so much more. For you to know that I am not actually against Enzo Maresca. There are a lot of positives there. My dear friends, this morning, as your breakfast, I want to point out a few things to you again. For you to understand that Pochettino, after all, wasn't bad. Where we are coming from and where we got into, win percentage. Chelsea manager win percentage across all competitions under the new ownership. Under the new ownership, Todd Boehly Group, the Clearlake capital. Chelsea manager win percentage across all competitions. And I'm starting from Thomas Tuchel, Lampard, and I will exclude Lampard due to lack of games or manage. Quickly, we are starting right now from Graham Potter. I will exclude Lampard, like I said. Graham Potter played 31 games in charge, had 12 wins. That is 39% win rate. Pochettino played 51 games, and had 27 wins. That's 53% win rate. Enzo Maresca currently played 18 games and had 10 wins, 56%. 18 games, had 10 wins out of that. That is 56%. We are moving on. Now, you can see all three of them on your screen. Graham Potter 39%, Pochettino 53%, Enzo Maresca 56%, and the season is not even up to half yet. Why are these things becoming a news? Well, in social media and everywhere you go, in the UK, it's everywhere. Did Enzo Maresca really improve Chelsea? Most analysts, including myself, we agreed Enzo Maresca has done a great job managing this squad, young and talented. But we also want to put into perspective Pochettino's era, the situations on ground before the takeover of Pochettino. I personally am on the view that if Pochettino was to be in charge of this squad, Chelsea would have been better off by now than this. Oh yes, I know you will come after me. Yes, and I'm ready for you, and I'll prove you wrong. Yes. You see, the difference between Poch and Enzo Maresca, under Pochettino, I never see the clear identity of the club, of the football we are playing, the style of football. Under Enzo Maresca, I can see the identity of style of play. But with Pochettino, I could not identify the style of play. Now, there is a reason why, dear friends, and it's very simple. Majority of the star players in this current squad that Enzo Maresca is managing or coaching were injured in the last season. And secondly, the additions that were made to this current squad under Maresca, Pochettino never had that luxury. He never had that luxury. Even when we had injury situation, at the time that we have 12 players on injury, Poch can look at his bench and he will see who on the bench. Can you guess who is on the bench to use? Raheem Sterling, my goodness. You can imagine, our left wing, we had Raheem Sterling or Michael Moidrick. So if Moidrick is not on form, we have to rely on Raheem Sterling. Those were the two best options we have. Today, we have Sancho, we have Pedro Neto, we have Moidrick in addition. I mean, you can name them. Yet, now, quickly, before I move on, do you remember later stages of the season after Christmas, when we began to see players coming back from injury? What happened? The win rate of Pochettino began to increase. We started winning games. At a point, even you watching me right now, at a point, you were wishing, you were thinking that, the season could continue. Some of us were hoping that, if we could have another 2-3 games, Chelsea will be in the top 3 or top 4. When the season was almost over. It is what it is. Poch wasn't really a bad coach, and Pochettino was never sacked for lack of good performance. Poch had misunderstanding. They want to sign a coach for set pieces, Bernardo Cueva, and Poch says no. That was one of the major misunderstandings that he had with the owners. Pochettino was against Chelsea signing Bernardo Cueva. Yeah, as a set piece coach. Poch was like, no, I'm okay with my coaching staff. And at a point, he made a statement at a press conference which actually annoyed the sporting directors. He said, you can bring him in. You can bring him in. But whether I will make use of him to train my players or not is another thing. He made that statement and I was shocked to hear that. That was when the relationship between him and the sporting directors broke up. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, this morning it is very hot and I want to go straight to Chelsea players right now. I'll talk about 2 players and I'll run out. When we come back, we will talk about some more important issues. Cole Palmer statistically calculated, or let me put it this way, Cole Palmer has been statistically calculated by who scored characteristics. Cole Palmer's abilities in the attacking area, his strength, his weaknesses, and then I will move to Pedro Neto. I will end with Pedro Neto. Cole Palmer as an attacking midfielder, creative midfielder, goal scorer. What are his strengths in this Chelsea setup? According to WhoScored.com, Cole Palmer's strengths: 1, his finishing, top notch. Long shots, top notch. Key passes, top notch. Direct free kicks, top notch. Through balls, top notch. And then dribbling. Those are the 6 main characteristics you can find in Cole Palmer. Now, what are Cole Palmer's weaknesses going forward? We are on an international break, so it is the right time to point out some of these things. Then when we are analyzing players individually, you will understand where we are coming from. You know really what we are talking about. On this channel, we analyze football. We don't use our heart. We don't follow football with our heart. We follow football with our brain. Cole Palmer's weaknesses is very bad in crossing. Cole Palmer is very bad in crossing. He's bad at area duels. He doesn't win area duels. He doesn't even jump. Talk less of winning the area duels. Discipline. He has a problem with discipline. He's indisciplined. Let me use that word. And his defensive contributions are 0. He doesn't like defending. Those are his weaknesses. 4. Crossing ability, area duels, discipline, and defensive contributions. Those are the weaknesses you can find in Cole Palmer. But his strength, finishing, long shot, key passes, direct shots, direct free kicks, through balls, and then dribbling. Those are 6 strengths of Cole Palmer. Quickly, I want to move to Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto. Yes. What do we think about the strength of Pedro Neto? I have it, and I want to show you. Pedro Neto statistically calculated who scored characteristics, his strength, crossing. So now you see it. Where Cole Palmer have weaknesses, Pedro Neto's strength lies there. Crossing, Cole Palmer, one of his weaknesses is crossing on the ball. Now, crossing, key passes, set piece, holding on to the ball and dribbling. These are the strengths of Pedro Neto. Crossing, making key passes, playing set pieces, holding on to the ball and dribbling. Now, let's look at the weaknesses of Pedro Neto in comparison to Cole Palmer. Weaknesses, finishing. Remember, Cole Palmer has a very good rate in finishing. Discipline. Cole Palmer also has a discipline problem. Now, Pedro Neto has a discipline problem. Defensive contributions. That also applies to Cole Palmer. Area dwells. That also applies to Cole Palmer. What does this tell you? Ladies and gentlemen, in my little mind, what this tells me is that most attacking players lack defensive abilities. Most attacking players lack defensive abilities. Now, if you have these players in your starting 11, what do you do? Both are starting in the same game. Pedro Neto starting, Cole Palmer starting. What do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we talk about balance. And reading into the mind of Enzo Maresca is one of the reasons why Malo Gusto is made to play most of the games. Dear friends, now, before I let you go finally, raise your breakfast. I will not take much of your time. Whilst talking about win percentage of Pochettino and Enzo Maresca, I want to get this. Poch 53% win with most starters injured. Pochettino 53% win rate with most of the starters injured and dysfunctional squad. There is no reason that Chelsea wouldn't get into top 4 if Poch was still in charge this season. I know some of you fans will say, oh, Poch is a failure and Maresca has done massively well. When we know Maresca started off from where Pochettino ended, let that be made clear. Let that be made clear. Ladies and gentlemen, let me end it here because I'll be back. You know, when I'm speaking, I know what I'm talking about. I know most of you are in love with Maresca. I love Maresca. Where he's taking us, yes, we started building a squad. I just want you to admit that the work Pochettino did from last season, Enzo Maresca only continued. But he now brought identity to the club, the style of play. Simple as that. I'll see you guys in the next one when you see me with more of your shout out. I have shout out here already, but due to time, it's your breakfast. I'll come up with more shout out later in the day. See you when you see me, dear friends. Shalom and peace.